Okay, it looks like we have a bunch of people joining, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So before we start, I just wanted to add that as usual, if anyone has any questions throughout this webinar, you can feel free to write them in the chat below, and we'll get to questions at the end of the presentation. I also wanted to add that this presentation will be recorded. So if you have to jump off early or you have a colleague that's interested and couldn't attend, we'll be sending it out within the next day or so. Great. So just to quickly run through today's agenda, we're going to introduce our speakers very quickly, and then we'll cover a few of the following topics. First, discussing an overview of Worldwide Fruit as well as Clarifresh, and then we'll talk about how Worldwide Fruit managed their quality control in the past, how they're running their quality management processes today, and lastly, how their quality management today has impacted overall business. And we'll conclude with any questions towards the end. So great, starting with our speakers, Willie and Alad. Willie, do you want to say a few words, Alad, before we start?
Yeah, good. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. My name is Willie Wood. I head up the technical team at Worldwide Fruit. We're based in Spalding, Lincolnshire, UK. Yeah, looking forward to introducing you to the key drivers behind why we chose Clarifresh and what is a robust quality management system for us. Okay.
And hey, everybody, I'm Alad, CEO, one of the 3 co-founders of Clarifresh. Very excited to have actually Willie join us today and have such a great and large audience for us. Worldwide Fruit was actually our first UK customer, so we're very grateful to the partnership that was built with Willie and the team over the last couple of years, and obviously we're going to talk much more about it. As Talia mentioned at the beginning, feel free to, if the question come up, just shoot them into the chat. I think it actually be helpful to us to focus our answers and discussion points on what you guys care for most. Back to you, Talia.
Great, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with Worldwide Fruit. Willie, can you give a brief overview of Worldwide Fruit for those who are unfamiliar?
Yeah, certainly, Talia. Yeah. For those of you who don't know much about our business, we are a grower-owned organisation. We're owned by Turners and Growers, which is a BayWa organisation based in New Zealand, and the other 50% shareholding is with the Fruition Producer Organisation in the UK, who grow circa 30% of the UK domestic crop. Today, we receive fruit from 105 separate supply chains, 350 pack houses, and over 6,000 growers approved to supply our retail customers here in the UK, as set out on the screen. And just to break that down, we have 54 apple and pear chains, 29 stone fruit chains, 22 avocado chains. All of these supply chains and the variables will be supplying us at some point across the year. So with this fairly large, complex international supply base, I'll try and take you through what, as I say, the key drivers are for why we've chosen Clarifresh as our quality management system partner. Thank you. And Talia, if you just want to scroll onto the full supply base, that's, top fruit, stone fruit, avocado, and the full supply base for our Northern Hemisphere, and the third slide is the Southern Hemisphere. Just to give you context to why, with all these number of variables, why the quality management system is quite, well, it's strategically important for our business. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Willie. And Alad, can you share a brief overview about Clarifresh?
Sure. So for those who don't know us or don't know us well, we are a 7-year-old software company, and we are today the leading quality management platform for fresh produce globally. We're the first one to really develop a platform that can automate the actual quality control processes within the supply chain by leveraging AI technology, and specifically in our case, computer vision technology that enables our customers to standardize the way quality is evaluated and really remove as much as human judgment as possible. We'll talk more about it in a sec. And the second thing we're trying to do is really generate insight, not just data points, but actually insights that can help you guys and your sales guys and your technical managers and whoever is involved in the decision making regarding which customer should accept this pallet or where should we ship it, to actually make those decisions based on data rather than based on intuition. I think one of the unique angles for us in this marketplace is that we're really trying to help the supply chain meaningfully reduce the quality mismatches that are taking place between every seller and buyer, whether it's in the field or in the pack house or in the distribution center of Worldwide Fruit or even the front stores of an Albertson. How do we do that? Essentially, when we started the company, we've identified 3 key drivers for why a quality mismatch may happen. Reason number 1 is that you and your buyer don't really speak the same language with respect to quality. Reason number 2 is that even if you and your buyer do speak the same language, the actual inspection process today, as you guys probably know, is very manual and hence subjective and inconsistent. And then the third issue, given the analog nature of the supply chain globally, is that there is not a lot of information that is available for you guys and for the decision makers to make those decisions. And essentially, what we've done is build a platform, a software platform that is trying to address each one of those issues that I just mentioned. How are we doing it? We're doing it in 3 key steps. Step number 1, we essentially invented a language. We call it a Clarifresh language. And essentially what we're doing is we're taking all of your quality spec or all of Worldwide Fruit quality spec at the first step, and we have converted them into a digital spec. And from now on, that's how Worldwide Fruit communicates their quality spec to their suppliers, wherever they are globally, and actually also to their buyers. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, that's where the AI and computer vision comes into the game. We essentially developed in-house the computer vision technology. We have a patent to that in the US as well as in the EU, where we enable the inspectors, wherever they are. They can be in the field, in the pack house, in a distribution center, to perform the entire QC process through the mobile app. We leverage the computer vision technology to take pictures of size and color, so we remove the subjectivity out of it. But there is a bunch of other technologies that allow our customer to collect all the data and really get it to the inspector and to the decision makers very, very quickly. And that leads us to the third step, which is really where a lot of the brain is, our big data and analytics platform, where we can generate real-time insights, automatically generate a report, a supplier evaluation, and other analytics to help you guys make better decisions.
Great. Thank you so much, Elad. And so the next question that we have for you, Willie, is how was your quality team managing quality control prior to Clarifresh?
Okay, thanks, Talia. Yeah, prior to 2022, we had a fairly standard quality management system platform in situ, where the spec setup process, spec management, making spec changes, the general administration of the system was fairly time consuming. It was clunky. It wasn't operator or user friendly. That was the feedback that we got from all our team. And it was costly. It was very costly. So when we reviewed that current state back in 2022, we reviewed our inbound quality performance and ran rejection analysis, and we could see that spec misalignment stood out, invariably caused by operator error and our inability to remove the subjectivity of a very manual process. And we've got over 20 quality inspectors in play at any one time. So removing the subjectivity was a big want. It was a big ask, and we were looking at that time on how we could do it. The big challenges that we were having as a team was that how we were managing borderline quality. Mixed variable loads was the problem. Variation, as you could see from the supply chain that we've got, variation and variability, as we say, is the root cause of all evils. And we relied very heavily on inspector knowledge, skills, spec interpretation, defect photo standard interpretation. And the inspector decision-making process was difficult. We had to rely on them, on what sample sizes they needed, and if they needed to increase based on what they were finding. And whether they had available time to assess more fruit was a big challenge through this manual process. So again, back to evidencing from the number of stock reassessments that we were undertaking, we found that we were reassessing, double checking to see if our first assessment findings were accurate. So therefore, confidence in the quality inspection process was in question. And it was in question from our procurement team, it was in question from our technical team, and invariably it was in question from our supply base. So we knew that our process was unstable. We understood that we needed a partner to help our transition to a more automated, digitalized quality management system. And really that was primarily to remove operator interpretation where we deem it necessary. Clearly, people skills still play a critical part of our product management process, but for fruit quality attribute assessment, the move to digital automated process was critical.
Great, thank you so much, Willie. And just a follow-up question. So, when it comes to quality control, what are the most critical aspects that you need in order to make the best business decisions?
Well, I think Elad touched on it. We need one standard quality inspection process. We as a business believe in leader standard work to validate that operators and inspectors are following the process consistently. That's a given for every business, I'm sure. But being able to assess larger sample sizes without incurring significant amounts of additional time is a real key factor for us. We're 24/7, 52 weeks of the year at full capacity on inbound receipt. Therefore, it's absolutely critical that we can risk assess and make the right timely live decisions based on real-time accurate data, which is driven by smart vision camera technology. So for this to happen, the technology is the critical driver. So how do we then use, it's very much about how we then use accurate inspection data. And that's probably the primary driver on how we cut our data for trend and comparison analysis. Before it was a very manual, laborious process, but now we are able to quickly cut our supplier data. We can look very specifically at major and progressive defect performance for the previous month or the previous season, and we can run season to date analysis or year-on-year comparison. That could be Northern Hemisphere versus Southern. It could be suppliers of specific variety within a given period of supply. But we assess how supply chain quality performance links directly with seasonal prospect feedback. We receive seasonal prospect feedback from all our supply chains, and these open up technical and procurement conversations where we're seeing underperformance against what we're told around seasonal prospects. So it allows us to ensure that we're having the right discussions at the right time and on how we collectively fix problems, because our primary driver is delivering right first time quality into our facility, our operation here. Then it's how we use the high quality photographs that we've now got sitting within the system to evidence our findings back to both our procurement team and our global supply base. We need to evidence what we're finding, and that's where the confidence and trust comes. So we do question, and sometimes we challenge, but we have a shared aim of delivering greater levels of right first time quality into the Spalding packhouse operation. So to conclude really there, the objective is to optimize returns back to our global grower base, shareholder and non-shareholder. And we've got a shared goal of preventing defective fruit being shipped around the world, from a food waste perspective. But let's be clear, it's about avoiding financial missed opportunity. It's about ensuring that we're not doing offline sorting. And most importantly, and I'll come to it in a little while, our job is to deliver consistency and continuity of our quality offer to our retail customers every order that we pack, 52 weeks of the year. And that's our primary driver, is ensuring that we can demonstrate that we've got a stable process through these critical components that actually are partly human. We have to manage the process, but we've got the technology at our hands to enable better quality decision making.
Great, thank you, Willie. And just on the topic of business impact, can you share some of the other benefits that other customers have seen in terms of their business impact and how we've benefited them?
Yeah, sure. I think on a high level, we usually see three key buckets of benefits for our big supplier customers or some of the bigger wholesalers, such as Willie and Worldwide Fruit. I think bucket number one, which is the immediate benefit that our customers see literally over the first few months, is that just through the digitalization and the automation through the AI and computer vision, we usually save, I want to say, somewhere between 30 to 60% of the time of the actual inspection time. And then obviously it translate to dollar, and it's a customer the decision what to do with the dollar saving or the pound saving. And the range between the 30 and 60 is because it highly depends on the specific customer processes, as well as the alternative, right? If you guys are using today either pen or paper or the equivalent, which is honestly like an Excel, it's probably going to be in the 50 to 60% time range saving. If you're using kind of what we call level 1 automation, which is kind of electronic form platform like a Matty Boots in UK or a Harvest Mark / in US, etc., it's probably going to be, I would say, probably in the 30% range in terms of savings. So that's kind of bucket number one. Bucket number two is really the reporting and analytics. And for most of our customers who, as you guys can see on our website, tend to be the largest or the larger brands and players in the market, it's a very significant benefit. One of the challenges we see across all of our customers, and actually Willie already touched upon it as well, is that some of them, let's say the guys who have like a level 1 digitalization platform, they actually have the data or some of the raw data, but they are very limited in their capacity to actually exploit this data into insights that can help them make better decisions and communicate effectively with their suppliers. And I think where our platform is doing a really good job is in its ability to instantly generate reports, send those reports, whether it's a traditional QC report where you guys can customize it and then create a notification group ahead of time, and literally there is no second needed to devote to that because everything is already built in, or it's a supplier evaluation reports where you want to create benchmark performance for your suppliers and then share it with them. It's very easy to get all this data in CloudFresh. We've actually integrated ChatGPT, the new LLM models, into the platform over the last 6 months, which makes it even easier. So I think that's the second kind of bucket of benefits that we see. And then the third one, I'm trying to look at a list of people here, but I don't know your ages. I call it the 40-year-old and above person benefit, the Jerry Maguire bucket, for whoever watched the amazing 90s movie Jerry Maguire. At the end of the day, all of this technology is just a tool, and it's a tool to show you the money. We need to show you the money, and you need to show the money to your COOs. or whoever you report to. And the way to do that at the end of the day is by standardizing the QC, which was bucket number one, and giving you real-time information and insight, which was bucket number two. The result should be essentially two things. Number one, you have higher consistency of quality that is actually coming your way now into your DC and then downstream to your buyers. And that obviously should elevate your selling capacity and your brand in the marketplace. But the other one is really reducing quality mismatch and waste within your actually pack house or operations. And that's usually something that we see somewhere between 360 to 720 days. One customer that I can share data is Dole Sunshine, who was our first customer in Asia back in 22, I believe. They reduced 22% of their previous year rejections. With the first full year of adopting Clarifresh, it was easy for them to figure it out because they are a vertically integrated player, so they grow their own stuff. They have their own pack houses, but they even do the QC at 12 destination markets. So they can literally compare the production versus how much came in from the inbound at the pack house to the destination market. And that's really where the big money is going to be for you guys down the road. Obviously, it's something that I'm unfortunately not going to be able to commit day one, but that's really the biggest value driver for the industry and for our customers.
Great, thank you, Elad. And Willie, since implementing AI, what has been the biggest transformation in your quality management that you've seen?
Yeah, Talia, I think it's a good question. I mean, I think everybody that's on the call today, I think we all have a great deal in common in that we are all, or generally, we're working with a number, in some cases, a large number of quality inspectors, all interpreting specification defect tolerances slightly different. And that's human operator realities across the globe in terms of quality management. So we therefore share, I believe, the same accuracy and confidence problems around right first time accurate data for good quality decision making and quick decision making when it comes to ensuring that we're directing the actual quality of fruit to either the target customer or the non-target customer to deliver the best return. So from a transformational perspective, this last 12 months, we've got ourselves into a position where we're delivering automated digitalized assessment on apple color, apple size. Now, apple color, that's in block intensity as well as coverage and apple size. So there's no human intervention here. And we're working in partnership now with the Clarifresh team, Avi, Elad, and the wider team on level 3 external defect camera vision identification. So again, we're part there, but we envisage over the next 12 to 24 months getting to a position where the full quality attribute assessment, with the exception of internal defect, is fully automated, and it ties wonderfully into our non-destructive testing investment on pressures and sugars across the 3 commodity areas, where we really, by the end of 2026, we really only have to get to a position where we are manually destructively testing for internal defect, and that will be based on very robust risk assessment. So we're working on greater increased transparency across our end-to-end value chain, back to grower export and forward to our retail customers. There are 3 key business success factors that I think everyone should consider. We've certainly considered it. And the first is removing surprises for both our operations team and our customers. There shouldn't be any surprises today on what we receive in our business. And there always will be, but we work on the basis that we certainly can't pass a surprise on our customer. The second is to deliver greater consistency and continuity offer quality offer across the full length of the season. That's start, middle, and end. And it's how we manage the difficult high-risk windows, and we're able to do that. That's transitioned us greatly. And the third is our shared aim of improving our saleable yield, reducing financial missed opportunity, which I've mentioned on a number of occasions. And we do this through working with our global supply base on how we can together improve a joint ability to deliver greater right first time quality. To our Spalding operations, we're not a hospital. We're not geared up to manage defective, out of spec product. And we're certainly not here to pass that defect on to our customers. So automation, to conclude, automation and AI, as we've discussed, we view as the key enabler for delivering the fundamentals. Doing the basics brilliantly is what we say within our business. And we take every opportunity, such as today, to try and introduce our supply chain partners to the Clarifresh system, to give them the opportunity to at least access and touch the benefits that could materialize. We believe that there's every potential. If it's successful within Worldwide Fruit, there's no reason why it shouldn't be successful within other fruit produce businesses.
And Willie, how do you see the growth of quality management at Worldwide Fruit?
Yeah, well, this next 24 months is really quite critical. We've got business commitment to an automated, digitalized apple business. We're removing non-destructive testing out of the business, and we're moving our quality management fundamentals to risk-based. So we need AI. We've got AI on color, we've got size, we've got external defect. And just to be clear, that's going to be minor, major, progressive, and combined defect assessment, which will be automated and digitalized. So we need to track and measure how that works, but we're keen to try and feed that back into our supply chain, further down the chain, back into grower exporters wherever we can, to reduce the amount of assessment that's being done, to drive better risk-based decision making. Taking cost out is part of that, but it's not the key driver. It's consistency, continuity, confidence. But we will pinpoint quality risk earlier. We know that, and that will enable us to manage the fruit in the most cost-effective manner, optimizing yield, and really, yeah, it is all about grower exporter return. But AI will also play a greater strategic role in tracking and measuring from our customers' perspective, I'm sure. So it'll be really interesting over the next 24 months on how and if this camera vision technology will transition into retailer, regional distribution centres, and into inspection processes out with the primary pack house. So yeah, we're encouraged that we are going to be efficient, we're going to be effective, and when challenged through problematic quality, which we envisage we're going to get more of with climate change, there's going to be more supply chain challenges affecting us, whether it be shipping delays affecting fruit quality post-harvest life. We're gearing up for a horizon that isn't necessarily going to be one of less food waste. It could well be that we're dealing with greater challenges than we are at the moment. And without, or I should say, with relying on the system that we had pre-2022, I'm not 100% sure we would be able to manage that in an efficient, cost-effective manner without this type of investment today. So we're investing in the future. And I think this last 3 years has all been about how quick can we get to external defect, automated, digitalized assessment. And I think Gilad's going to touch on it at the end, where it's the roadmap's in place. We've just got to deliver the roadmap. And we'll case study the benefit. I think we've got customers that are really keen to understand, okay, evidence your your successes, what it's delivered now versus what you had before. So I think by the end of this year, we'll be able to case study and evidence the cost saving, the broader business benefit that Clarifresh has brought to Worldwide Fruit.
Great. Thank you so much, Willie. And just so our last question for you, Alad, is can you share a bit about the growth of Clarifresh and what's in the development from a product perspective that will enable Worldwide Fruit and customers alike to reach their quality control goals?
So I could probably speak for about 45 minutes just on this question, but I'll divide it into two quick kind of buckets of answers. The first one is from a technology development and R&D perspective, as Willie discussed before. Our key focus is to continue and deepen our automation capabilities with respect to the computer vision technology. And while we are automating today the size and color analysis for about 24 produce categories, which represents about 80%, 80 of the Marks and Spencer fresh produce volume. Our priority over the next few years is actually to automatically analyze as well the defects of those produce categories. We actually embarked on this journey about a year ago, or a year and a change, with the citrus category. We're working with a bunch of design partners globally. We tagged on strawberries for that this year. And we expect to expand that further over the next couple of years to a few other categories. And so that's kind of one, I would say, vector of investment and growth, which, in my opinion, is key. It's prominent in its potential impact on the industry, because if we can automate the analysis of defects for whatever, citrus and strawberries, for example, we already do size and color, we can effectively eliminate any human judgment involved in the inspection process, right? Size, color, defects will be done by Clarifresh. Bricks, acidity, pH, firmness, whatever is the internal attribute that you guys care for the specific produce category is already objective, because it's being done by a scientific device, whether it's destructive or non-destructive, and we obviously capture this information as part of our mobile app as well. So that's kind of one big vector, which we really focused on and investing the majority of our R&D resources into. I think the second vector that we are investing in is actually trying to fulfill the mission of the company. And the mission, as I actually discussed in the beginning of this conversation, was we want to help the supply chain standardize the way quality is evaluated across the entire supply chain, not just wholesaler or distributors like Worldwide Fruit, not just big marketing companies like Angersoft or Dole or Zestri, but also the retailers, as well as the actual growers. And all of those, obviously, components are key in order to make this success. We're actually expanding both downstream towards the retailers later this year. And we also introduced the ability to actually onboard, almost in a self-serve manner, growers and small suppliers onto our platform. Actually, we already have two, for example, of Worldwide Fruit suppliers who onboarded on Clarifresh, and that's really key in making this vision success, because we want to help everyone speaks the same language, right? So not just Worldwide Fruit inspectors within their different sites, but also the growers, wherever they are, suppliers, wherever they are in the world, and also their buyers, the retailers. And that's the other vector that we are investing in from a go-to-market perspective. And there's going to be a lot more news coming around that in 2025.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Alad. So it looks like we are out of time, and we have a couple of questions that came in, so we can answer one for each of you guys. So I'll start with Alad. Somebody asked, does Clarifresh support smaller teams such as single growers or only larger enterprise companies?
So as I just mentioned now, actually the answer until 4 months ago was no. We did not onboard smaller players intentionally, but over the last year, we actually simplified our user interface. We built a very deep knowledge base, which allows the smaller marketing company or a wholesaler and the grower to actually onboard Clarifresh and get a lot of the benefit that we discussed as part of this process. It's actually very easy. You can literally go to clarifresh.com, start now, and you'll be taken through a very I think seamless and friendly process. And we'll have actually support interacting with you guys the minute you register and help you on board. So yeah, we are open for the smaller growers, and again, the reason is because it's a key component in our ability to really help the supply chain standardize quality from field to, I wouldn't say fork at this point, but the front store of a Marks and Spencer.
Okay, great. And one question for you, Willie. What's one key lesson that Worldwide Fruit has learned in its journey to improve quality control that you think other companies could benefit from?
Yeah, we spend a lot of money on quality assessment, and it needs to add value. We check a minuscule percentage of the fruit that we actually supply. The key learning for us is, I think it's twofold. Moving to a new system isn't that daunting for the team. We were a little bit worried, but as soon as they realised that this is user friendly, it's a lot easier to use, and the results. It's making their life easier. In essence, that's the big thing. We're only as good as the people we've got working for us, and therefore make their life easier and listen to them. Now, that combined with being able to more effectively and efficiently assess more fruit, that sample size, we can, through high risk windows, make better quality decisions, because we're physically able to actually assess more fruit within the same time we had permitted before. We're not increasing resource, we're not decreasing resource, we're making better use of that time with the technology. Yeah, the feedback from the team, again, what are those doing the job in the process saying? Yeah, they're, before they would probably be saying, I've not really got time to go and reassess or assess further variables within a load. Well, we're not getting that feedback. It's a much more efficient, seamless process that allows the team to get on, make a good quality decision, be confident in it. And we hear that from the procurement teams. They're confident, more confident now. When there's a problem, we understand and we've quantified it, and we're managing it effectively and early. It's kind of an overarching overarching position on what every other business should be able to see as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Willie. So we are just about out of time. So we apologize for any questions that we couldn't get to, but as I mentioned, we will be sending out this recording, and we'll be happy to set up a call following this session. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to also mention that Clarifresh and Worldwide Fruit will both be at the Festival of Fresh conference next Thursday on June 5th, which actually will be hosted at the Worldwide Fruit headquarters. So if you enjoyed this session, you're going to be there and want to learn more, we'd love to see you or just simply say hi in person. So please meet us there. If not, thank you so much for joining us today and taking the time to be here with us. It was a pleasure to host everybody. Thank you, of course, to our speakers, Alad and Willie, for providing us with those insights. We hope it was a really great session for everybody. And as I mentioned, I will be sending out the recording within the next day or so. So you should see that in your inbox. So thank you again, and I wish everybody a great rest of your day or evening, wherever you are.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Cheers, Talia. Cheers, Alad.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.